Welcome back. More now on Russia's ongoing assault against the people of Ukraine. Hundreds of children have reportedly been killed, and many more are struggling with frigid temperatures amid the Kremlin's attacks on the country's power supply. The Ukraine Children's Action Project was founded to help address the physical and mental needs of the children of Ukraine as they witness the atrocities of war. Joining us now, the founder of the Ukraine Children's Action Project, Dr. Erwin Redlener. He is the founding director and senior research scholar at the National Center for Disaster Preparedness at Columbia University. Also with us, actor, screenwriter, and political activist John Cusack. He's an active member of the advisory board of the Ukraine Children's Action Project. We thank you both very much for being with us this morning. Dr. Redlener, I'd love to start with you and not just talk about how this came about, but how it works. How do you get help to the children of Ukraine?
Hi, Mika. Well, it's a pretty complicated problem, obviously. This is a country which used to be at war, and now it's not at war, really, in the traditional sense. Now it's the target of a massive campaign of terror being mounted by the Russians. And, you know, Russia was humiliated several times in this process. Once when they didn't take over Ukraine as they thought they were going to, and then in October and November, two things happened which changed everything. One was the Ukrainians presumably blew up the bridge between Crimea and Russia, and then the Russians were forced out of Kherson. And I think those events humiliated Putin enough that he is now striking back in an unprecedented, really never seen before since World War II, of going after the infrastructure. And I'm telling you, yesterday, wind chill factors in Lviv and Kyiv were around 12 degrees. And we have at least 10 to 15 million people in Ukraine, including a lot of kids, who are now suffering under ferocious cold winter temperatures. It's truly a humanitarian crisis and disaster.
Yeah, such brutal circumstances they're living under. John, how did you get involved in Ukraine's Children's Action Project?
Well, some very close friends of mine, family friends for a long time, had been working on this, and were friends with the good Dr. Erwin and his wife, Karen, whose reputations speak for themselves. So there was just a sense of an urgent need to do something. And we were all talking in the idea that this is the largest displacement of people since World War II is hard to get your head around. But if, you know, there's maybe one set of numbers that really can sink home, if you think about it, 5 million kids have been displaced. And not only are they suffering severe trauma and need medical assistance, and not only do they need stoves, generators, winter clothes, and safety, they need some help to deal with the psychological trauma of having their families ripped apart and all the things that they've been going through. So these recovery camps are, urgently needed. And I know, since I know all the people involved and Erwin and my friends, that this is an org that's completely transparent. All the money's going where it should, which is important to me if I'm going to give money or ask people to donate. And I think it's just vital, ongoing work.
So, Doctor, let's talk about the process of how this material gets there. How can it be done to safely ensure that the so desperately needed supplies reach people who need them? And how great is your level of concern? You mentioned the frigid temperatures already. Winter just beginning.
Just beginning.
And there's no real sign. The Russian attacks, there were more this morning, drone attacks in a couple of Ukrainian cities. They show no sign of abating. Just how desperate is the situation?
Well, let me put it this way. Zelensky himself said that the need for electricity, for generators, in the country of Ukraine is as big as the need for ammunition and other weapons of war. I mean, whether that's exactly true or not, but the point is well made, John, that they have like 25,000 communication centers throughout Ukraine that have to be powered. If electricity's down, that's a ferocious hit on the ability for Ukrainians to communicate with one another and the outside world. But the big thing is the heating situation. Generators are desperately needed. What we're doing is we have a couple of incredible volunteers, Ukrainians. Karen and I have been there 4 times, but we now have volunteers on the ground who are shopping for generators all over Europe, shopping for price and shopping for, the availability and accessibility. We can't be shipping things from the U.S., so what we do is we raise money with John's help. It's been unbelievable, and we send that money to reliable sources that we have been working with there. They go shopping for generators.
John, the idea of all of these children, hundreds of thousands of children, suffering from terror and trauma of war, some will never recover mentally, but the basic aspect of finding these children in need of help. Some must be in Poland, some must be scattered throughout other countries. The ones who are in Ukraine live in peril each and every day. How do we go about finding these children in order to help them?
Well, I mean, Irvin can speak to that too, but one of the things we've noticed is these recovery camps that we've set up are doing extremely well, not only giving people a sense of safety, a sense of community, a sense of, and it's not hundreds of thousands of kids. There's 5 million displaced kids. I mean, it's just a hard number to wrap your head around. But there's mental health professionals, there's winter clothes, there's boots. And every time we put out something so that people can be enrolled in the camp, before the minute it's been posted, it's sold out and we need more. So every camp, we need to expand these camps. There's so many people in need, it's hard to even get your head around it. I mean, Erwin can speak to that.
Yeah,
right. There's people inside of Ukraine, there's people outside the borders in Warsaw, and but the need is just unbelievable.